Hello, and thank you very much for joining me for this week's episode. Now, before I get into the content, I want to take this opportunity to say a huge thanks to Lisa for her very kind donation, and also to the listeners who responded to my request for ideas and suggestions for future content. I'm incredibly grateful to all of you and the kindness that you've shown. It really does make a difference. And if you too feel inclined to make a donation, it doesn't matter how large or small, all is very much welcomed. You can get the links on the show notes to the podcast. And likewise, if you have some ideas you think I could include in the podcast, you'll find my email address on the show notes as well, where you can get in touch with your thoughts. So let's head over to Section 1. Section 1. Do you know these business phrasal verbs? It doesn't matter what type of business you work for. Chances are you'll come across one or all of these phrasal verbs during your working life. So I'm going to say each phrasal verb followed by its meaning, and then an example sentence of how you could use this phrasal verb in conversation. So let's go. Number 1, to edge out. To edge out. And this means gradually removing by indirect means. Example sentence could be, he was aware that they were trying to edge him out of all the important meetings. He was aware that they were trying to edge him out of all of the important meetings. Number 2, to fire away. To fire away. This is used to give someone permission to begin speaking, typically to ask questions. So, for example, I've finished the presentation now, so please fire away with any questions you may have. I've finished the presentation now, so please fire away with any questions you may have. Number 3, to ship out. To ship out. This is to move goods or people away from a place. So, for example, once the address is confirmed, the order is ready to ship out. Once the address is confirmed, the order is ready to ship out. Number 4, to tick over. To tick over. Notice I used the weak version of to, so it becomes to tick over. So this means to keep work functioning at a minimal level. So, for example, he won't make any important decisions until a new leader is found. He'll just keep everything ticking over. He won't make any important decisions until a new leader is found. He'll just keep everything ticking over. Number 5, to gloss over. To gloss over. This means to treat or describe something such as a serious problem or error as if it were not really that important. So, for example, I did feel she rather glossed over the sales figures. I did feel she rather glossed over the sales figures. Number 6, to hinge on. To hinge on. This means to depend on something. For example, the viability of the business hinges on the success of these talks. The viability of the business hinges on the success of these talks. Now, I do have a little audio file which contains these phrases and their meanings and the example sentences on the website. Go to learningbritishaccent.com/biz, hyphen phrasal hyphen verbs. I'll put the link in the show notes. Section 2. The wonderful world of shortened slang words. So welcome to my mini guide on British slang abbreviations. Now, if you've ever found yourself puzzled during a conversation with British friends, well, this post could be for you. I'm exploring the world of British slang shortcuts from obvs to aggro. Now, these shortened words are often used in casual conversation and text messaging among British English speakers, adding a unique flair to everyday communication. And here are some of these linguistic gems that make British English so distinctive. Firstly, mo, which is shortened for moment. Defo, defo, that's shortened for definitely. Tar, tar, that's a shortened version of thank you. Tar. Brill, brill, this is the shortened version of brilliant. Brilliant. Fab, fab, this is, of course, the shortened version of fabulous. Fabulous. Ovs, ovs, which is the shortened version of obviously. Obviously. Probs, probs, can be used if you want to shorten probably. Bants, bants is short for banter. Banter. And aggro, aggro, is shortened for aggravation or aggressive. So let's put these words into some example sentences. So with mo, I'll be there in a mo, just finishing up this task. Defo. Are you coming to the party tonight? Defo, wouldn't miss it. Defo, wouldn't miss it. Tar. Here's your coffee. Tar, mate. Brill. How was the concert? It was absolutely brill. It was absolutely brill. Fab. Your new haircut looks fab. Your new haircut looks fab. Ovs. Did you bring an umbrella? Ovs, it's always raining here. Did you bring an umbrella? Ovs, it's always raining here. Probs. Probs. Do you think it will be busy at the pub? Probs, it is Friday night after all. Bants. The office Christmas party was full of good bants this year. The office Christmas party was full of good bants this year. Aggro. Let's avoid that pub. There's always some aggro on match days. Let's avoid that pub. There's always some aggro on match days. So whether you're a native speaker aiming to stay current or a visitor trying to understand local expressions, familiarising yourself with these slang abbreviations will enhance your ability to engage in casual British conversations with greater ease and understanding. Now, it's worth keeping in mind that slang words can fall in and out of favour fairly quickly and may be replaced by some random expressions you've never actually heard of. I'm fairly confident the list we've just been through will remain relevant for a while to come, although personally I have never used the words bants in conversation before, but I understand other people do. So have you got any others that I should add to the list? And of course, if you want to improve your accent when using all of these slang words, you could do something totally crazy like join the British Accent Bundle and quickly learn the RP British pronunciation of the sounds, words and phrases. Why not give it a go? learningbritishaccent.com/bundle. Section 3. Your accent. The first 500 milliseconds matter. Did you know that within the first 500 milliseconds of hearing your voice, people form an impression of your trustworthiness? That's right, the University of Glasgow revealed this fascinating insight way back in 2014, and it still holds true today. In our modern world of Skype, Zoom and Teams, the way we speak can either open doors or shut them firmly. If you've got a thick accent, this might render you unintelligible, and this can lead to unfair biases, which is a phenomenon known as linguistic profiling, which was coined by Dr. John Bow. This is why mastering a clear and confident British accent can be your international business card. In many countries, English is not a native language, and residents struggle with it because of their thick native accents. Unfortunately, this can lead to non-native English speakers to be subjected to prejudice and stereotypes when it comes to securing professional opportunities or pursuing friendships and romantic relationships. So if you'd like to reduce your own native accent and speak English with a more traditional British RP sound, the British Accent Bundle is here to help. You can get all the details learningbritishaccent.com/bundle. And if you're not sure, I'm here to help. Get in touch with me. Section 4. Mastering the R sound in British English. So in this section, I'll be focusing on the pronunciation of the R sound in received pronunciation British English. Understanding when to pronounce the R and when to omit it is key to mastering this accent. RP British English is typically non-rhotic, which means generally the R is not pronounced, unless it is followed by a vowel sound. So there are some general rules to guide you to know when and when not to pronounce the R sound. So when not to pronounce the R is, for example, at the end of words. Example words like car, doctor, mother. She drove a red car. We don't pronounce the R at the end of these words. And secondly, we don't tend to pronounce the R if it falls before a consonant. So examples like hard, park, farm. A sentence could be, the ground was hard. We don't pronounce that R because it falls before a consonant. So when do we pronounce the R? There's 3 key areas to remember. 1. If it is before a vowel sound. So example words could be very, around, reading. Very, around, reading. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. Second situation is when we are linking the R's. So when a word ending in R or RE is followed by a word starting with a vowel. So for example, far away, far away, far away. We get to hear that R sound. Another example, her idea, her idea, her idea. And the third example, there is, there is. We hear these R sounds when we're linking these words ending in R or RE, and the following word starts with a vowel. And thirdly, we pronounce the R if it's an intrusive R. So this is an R sound that's sometimes added between words ending in a vowel sound and the next word starts with a vowel sound. So, for example, the idea of it, we add an R sound in between idea and of. The idea of it. The idea of it. Can you hear that? The idea of it. Another example would be law and order. And this R sound appears between the words law and order. It just makes the whole phrase sound more fluent and connected. Law and order. Law and order. Law and order. Can you hear that? Can you hear that R sound? So let's recap. Not pronounced R's are words like car. He bought a new car. Car. So this is when the word ends with an R. Or if the word ends with a ER, like she is a dedicated teacher, teacher, we don't pronounce the R. And if the R falls before a consonant, like in the word hard, we don't pronounce the R. It was a hard decision. And the situations when we do say the R sound. Words like very. She was very happy. So this is when the R appears before a vowel sound. Very. She was very happy. If it's a linking R, so when a word ending in R or RE is followed by a word starting with a vowel, we hear this R sound. For example, far away, far away. They moved far away. Can you hear the R sound in the middle? And we hear the R sound if it is what they call an intrusive R, which is the R sound that's sometimes added between words ending in a vowel sound, and the next word starts with a vowel sound just to make the phrase flow easier. For example, the idea of it. The idea of it. Now, if you need help with this R sound and all the other 44 different vowel and consonant sounds that you find in RP British English, please do join the British Accent Bundle, where you'll get videos to show you exactly how to make these sounds, how to correctly place your tongue, lips, teeth, and all your vocal apparatus so you correctly produce the sound. Go to learningbritishaccent.com/bundle to join up, and I hope to see you there. Well, we've come to the end of another podcast episode, and just to remind you that the links to get in touch, make a donation, or to join the British Accent Bundle can be found in the show notes. Thank you once again for all your support and subscribing to the podcast. So I'll see you next week.